Alright guys and girls, today, instead of looking at the past, I thought I'd look to the future, because often I forget about some of the great AMSTRAD projects that are underway. So let's look at 10 of the best ones coming up soon or in the near future. And first up, the big one we've all been waiting for, Vespatino. And yours definitely hit the floor when the Batman group surprised us with their teaser now over 3 years ago, and we've all been waiting patiently. Well, some more than others, shall we say, but we should all trust in the Batman group. They did deliver the stunning Pinball Dreams conversion after all, after several years. And wow, from what little we can see of this driving game from this trailer, it looks like it's going to be just as stunning, if not even more so. As for when we can expect this, well, we recently at last have some news. The graphics artist on the game recently tweeted out an update that the team are currently finishing off another project first, but Vespatino will be finished off after, in probably the latter half of 2023. So we still have a bit of a wait, but inside sources tell me the game is very much real, very advanced in development, and very, very good. So stay with it guys and girls, it's coming, it's coming. Our second biggest game though is probably Sonic the Hedgehog for the frickin' GX 4000 console. And I should probably give the proper title for this, which is actually Sonic GX from No Recess. Again, like Vespatino, the trailer and video footage you're watching here is from 3 years ago, but we've had some fairly regular updates from the coder, and we're told a lot has changed, improved and been added since this already stunning footage. The game is pretty much complete, there's a bonus level and the ending to add, then it's bug hunting and fixing. Now, I recently spoke to No Recess and he tells me whilst the game is very advanced, he has a lot going on currently and wants to put a conservative estimate of another 2 years on the project to squash bugs and fine tune and add lots of extra little bits and pieces and stuff. So expect this in 2024, but who knows, maybe earlier. But let's be patient, like Vespatino, it will be worth the wait. So sticking with big games, let's move on to Street Fighter 2. Now this is quite legendary in the AMSTRAD scene. The official US Gold conversion was long teased in the issues of AMSTRAD Action magazine and was ultimately doomed and cancelled, and we've had some unofficial hacks and fake videos appear over the years just to confuse things. But coder Augusto Ruiz and graphics artist Dadman actually started working on a proper homebrew conversion of the game with a demo video appearing on YouTube way back in 2013. And here, this video is actually from 4 years ago, but it's still being worked on with more recent footage appearing a few months ago on the CPC podcast channel. It looks like they finished 5 of the 8 fighters, with more work to be done fine-tuning the AI and tidying up the presentation and more things to do. Who knows when it will be done, but it looks like the AMSTRAD fans will eventually get a decent Street Fighter 2 game that the other 8-bit systems never got close to. So stay with us, and it will arrive eventually. But that's not the only Street Fighter 2 game coming. Really advanced in development is Mighty Street Fighter from the GGP team. So if you can't wait for the full Street Fighter 2 game, this stripped down cutesy version should keep you going. It looks absolutely delightful, and well, the AMSTRAD is starved of decent 1v1 fighters. The good news is that it's destined to be released later this year, or at the latest early next year, so you won't have to wait too long. But that's not all from the great GGP team, because the big one they've been working on from the last few years is coming this year, and that's Toki. Now some of you may remember we demoed this on the AmStream back in December 2019 to great fanfare, and it looked great. But after feedback from the community, they have spent the last 2 years completely rewriting the game engine. So instead of a single screen game with a slide scroll, it now properly fully scrolls, which is a major change, and there's been lots of other changes and improvements. The game is now finished and it's now in its final bug testing and refinement phase. with a projected release date of October this year. But knowing the GGP team and their penchant for PR, I would expect a Christmas release as a Christmas present for the AMSTRAD community, but who knows with them. Now we move on to yet another big conversion again in the works for a number of years. Ghosts and Goblins for the AMSTRAD 6128 Plus computer. So this may alienate quite a few real hardware users, being for a very select number of owners, but this is for the most unloved but most powerful of AMSTRAD's 8-bit ranges, and it does deserve more support with very few specific games made for it, but of course everyone can play it via emulation, and this does look really special. But this is not to be confused with Xiphos's GX4000 conversion from 2018, which was excellent, and that can tide you over whilst you wait for this one. But Golem 13's 6128 Plus version aims to be much more faithful to the arcade original, being a near perfect port. In fact, they have additional plans to make a separate selectable mode with graphical enhancements to improve on the original. However, a few months ago the project stalled a little with a change in the graphics artist, but it's now back on track. So I think we may have to wait maybe 1 or 2 more years on this one, with the last update being in March showing off level 3's graphics from the new graphics artist. So there's 4 more levels to do, but again, it'll definitely be worth the wait. Now, our last big conversion in our list is Wonder Boy. The official conversion was a bit meh, and I mean, it was okay, and I have a bit of love for it, but it was kind of a bit, well, subpar. So it's lovely to see this remake playing, moving and looking so wonderful. And this is looking very promising indeed. And it's running on a stock CPC, although you will need 128k of memory to run it. Although it was only a few days ago, on the 15th of June, we had some disappointing news that the project had been put on hold due to some real life priorities of the coder, and they're unable to say when they will be able to resume the project. So we wish them the best, and whenever they can return to this, we will be happily and patiently awaiting their return, because this looks flipping great. Finally, we move on to 3 original projects at last, not conversions, and let's start with the long-awaited return of star AMSTRAD coder Axelay with Corsair. Yes, Axelay, the man behind so many amazing AMSTRAD homebrew games like Star Saber, Sub Hunter, Dead on Time, Edge Grinder, Dragon Attack and Relentless, is back with his first game in over 5 years. And this vertically scrolling shoot 'em up is looking stunning, running at as smooth as a hot knife through butter, 50 frames per second, which is sorcery on the CPC. This 1-level demo was released in 2020 to whet our appetites, and I had a little chat with Axelay, and he has the last 2 levels to finish off. But the project has been much bigger and more elaborate than his previous games, and it's taking much longer than expected. And he doesn't have any idea when this game will be finished due to how busy he is. So again, we'll just have to be patient. But we know from his previous games, the wait will be more than worth it. Now, if you can't wait for Corsair and want another vertically scrolling shoot 'em up, then arriving very soon, hopefully, is Hyperdrive from Redrac, which is a bit of a departure from his other games, which I'm sure you're more than familiar with, such as Brick Rick, Magica, Golden Tail, Kitsune's Curse and Dawn of Colonel, and this is looking really nice indeed. We've only got a little bit of footage to go on from his Twitter feed, but this is looking really nice and smooth and well presented. Hopefully, by the looks of things, should be arriving later this year, I suspect. And last but certainly not least, Bubble Quest from Edouard Berger for the AMSTRAD GX4000. Looks absolutely stunning and beautiful, and it looks kind of reminiscent of Bubble Ghost and Balloonacy, if you know those games. And if you weren't a fan of the controls and gameplay of either of those, well, I think here in Bubble Quest you'll just want to bask in the beauty regardless, because wow, just look at it. Look at it! Anyway, I spoke to Edouard and the project is currently on hold at present, with no idea on when it will be completed sadly, but he is very, very keen to get this one done. And I think, as I mentioned and said several times for many of these games on the list, I think it will be more than worth the wait. Anyway, so I hope those 10 games leaves you suitably excited and energised for what's coming up on the AMSTRAD homebrew scene. Some absolutely fantastic productions there, and I know for a fact there are many, many more secret productions happening behind the scenes, and some that I just don't have any footage for or even much info about, such as Arctic Moves from Retrobytes Productions and Alhambra Tales from Raul Ortega Palacios. There's a few others over the years announced, but we've not heard anything about for a very long time, like Written Tam, the Rodland remake, Crownland, Nogalius and Brixen, so who knows what else there is to come. But what I can tell you is the AMSTRAD scene is alive and well and thriving, and we've got a lot to look forward to. Thanks for watching, take care everyone, and I'll see you all again very soon. Goodbye.
So thanks for watching guys, I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please click a like below, leave a comment and also subscribe if you haven't already. And over that way, there's another video for you to check out. Zypho, out.